This week on Health Garage.
Women who wait and maybe begin having their first pregnancy after the age of 30, they have increased rates of developing breast cancer.
In 2018, I started to realize that breast was growing smaller, and then it had a dimpling below.
If you find there's a hard swelling in your breast, that could be something that you need to report to the nearby health facilities.
Welcome to another educative episode of Health Garage, purposefully tailored to bring you the latest in health insights and advice. By the year 2020, Uganda had reported 65,248 people living with cancer, 3,418 new cases, and 22,992 cancer-related deaths. Today, we are at the Uganda Cancer Institute, shining a light on breast cancer. Unfortunately, most women in Uganda are diagnosed with stage 3 and 4 of cancer. We will explore why this is the case. Before we begin, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok at Health Garage.
It was around 2015, I first felt I had a lump in my breast. So a friend of mine had told me they'd removed a lump from her breast. So she asked me if they could do the same for me when I told her about it. So I went to a health worker in a government facility, and she said it was not anything serious, it was just a milk duct. So I let it go. But in 2018, I started to realize that breast was growing smaller, and then it had a dimpling below. So that's when I felt like it was something serious, and I asked a friend of mine who was a doctor. So she asked me to go to another government facility. I went there, they did an ultrasound, and the doctor that I saw told me it was not something serious. I should do routine checks of like 6 months every 6 months. But I had started to feel some pain. So that's when I went to another place. This time I went private. I went to a private hospital, and I was asked to do a mammogram. I did a mammogram. It was highly suspicious of breast cancer. So I was asked to do a fine needle aspiration biopsy. Even that was highly suspicious, but not conclusive. So from there now, doctors were like, you should do surgery, but I wasn't comfortable because the surgery they're telling me to do was total removal of the breast. I wasn't ready for that, and I even didn't have the money. Since it was private, it was really costly. So until I met somebody who directed me to the Uganda Cancer Institute. My treatment started in 2019. 2018, towards the end, is when I did a confirmatory test, another biopsy. It was confirmed it was positive of breast cancer. So treatment began in January of 2019. So I did that treatment and completed. But after like a few months, I started to have backaches. So I did a CT scan, and it showed the cancer had moved to the spine. Yes, so I treated that from 2019 to somewhere in 2021. Then I started to have difficulties breathing, and then I did another CT scan, and the doctors again found out it had moved to the lung, the left lung. So the lung had tumors, and I had a fluid in the lungs. I had to do hormonotherapy. It was supposed to be for 5 years. It's the treatment that is given to patients after the major treatments. It's a way of like suppressing the cells and making sure that the disease is completely killed off. But unfortunately for me, about 6 months into the hormonotherapy, I was again found out to be having cancer of the spine. Cancer treatment is not an easy treatment. It really takes the whole of you. Yes, for a time I continued doing volunteer work at the Uganda Child Cancer Foundation, but eventually I had to stop because, more especially when I got the problem with the back, I could not keep on working. So that also brought, of course, financial challenges. And then the other thing is that treatment confines you into one place. So when I want a place to live in, I'm always thinking, how far is it from hospital? I don't want to go somewhere and then I can't come back for treatment because I'm living so far. Can I at least use less than 10,000 shillings to get to hospital? That's what I consider. So it kind of confines you. So even when it comes to work, you're limited as to what you can do. Treatment alone makes you weak. Like now, because of surgery, I cannot use my hand so much. Even just within the house, I can't do much because my hand is affected because of surgery, my back is sick. So yeah, there are those challenges. It changes your life completely. The first thing I did was I decided to block out negativity and said, let me focus on doing my best to get well with what is available. And then I also got to join support groups, like the one I told you about, the Uganda Women's Cancer Support Organization. Yes, so it's a group of women that have survived different types of cancers. Others are still on treatment, others are survivors of 20 plus years. So you get encouraged and they're always there when you need them. And then also, of course, you know, when it comes to illness, you need everything, emotional and spiritual, all. So I have also, I'm a Jehovah's Witness. So we do a lot of Bible studying and yeah. So that faith and that hope is also very vital for me. Yeah, such things. Then I have friends who really care. Those who are going through the same journey that I'm going through, I want them to know that there is hope. Because when it comes to breast cancer, it's one of the most treatable cancers as long as it's detected early. First and second stage breast cancer, very easy to treat. So there is hope. Even if you're being treated for stage 3 or 4, hope is not lost because I'm so sure that currently the Uganda Cancer Institute has one of the best treatments for breast cancer. And then for ladies who are scared to screen, for those ladies who think it's better not to know, it's really, really, really will not help. Because at the end of the day, if the problem is there, you're just waiting for it to explode. And yet if you go early, they might catch it before it turns cancerous or when it has just started, and your chances of surviving are very high when it's caught early. Or if it's caught before it turns cancerous, then you can get the treatment you need, and it will be very simple treatment, other than waiting for it to become bad and then you have to take a whole year plus to treat a disease. Yeah, just go out there and find out. Actually, it's very important because for cancer, it takes years for it to become cancer. Or you can have it and work with it for years and you don't know it's there because it doesn't pain. And then by the time it starts to pain, it means you're in the late stages. I can't really point a finger to one particular thing because I wasn't one of those crazy girls growing up that maybe I had that lifestyle. And even if I wanted that lifestyle, I couldn't really afford it though. So normal life. And growing up from Teso, my dear, we don't really love oily food. I can't say I ate too much junk. No. So I can't really point a finger to one thing because when you talk to the doctors also they say one of the risk factors is delaying to give birth. I gave birth at the age of 18, so I really can't. I can just say it is one of those things that happens and it happens. Cancer is a life-changing disease. So my life changed from the day of diagnosis. It's more about hospital, it's more about how to get better than other things. So my back can't allow me to do a lot of things. Actually, the doctor, I use a back support, a corset. Yes. And then The doctors also advised no much, do not bend too much, do not lift heavy things. So it's just like that. You're limited in what you can do. The only exercise I can do is walk. So walking is what I can do. So that's what I do. But lifting, bending, and go to gym, I can't do those things. And then what I also use to help me keep my body at least somehow small is I feed the things I feed on. I try to make sure I have lots of fruits and vegetables. Yeah. Most people think cancer treatment is really, really expensive. Okay, it's expensive maybe in terms of getting to hospital because it takes long for you to be treated. Like my first treatment, it took a whole year. So you're always in hospital monthly. So for people who come from far, that is really hard. It's costly. But when it comes to treatment itself, the chemotherapy is for free. For me, I've never paid for chemotherapy. Blood tests are for free. It's the imaging tests like the CT scans, ultrasound, x-rays that are paid for. But even those ones are subsidized. And then there is also a provision for those patients who cannot afford. Yes.
Joining us today is Dr. Alfred Jatho from the Uganda Cancer Institute. Welcome, Dr. Jatho. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Dr. Alfred Jatho. I work at Uganda Cancer Institute. I head the training unit. I'm also a community cancer health educator. When you look at Uganda Cancer Institute alone, the average patient load currently is at 7,000 patients. But the total person expected to be living with the cancer per year is average of 32,000. And the number of cancer patients expected during a 5 years time in Uganda is 62,000 people. That's the one I've just stated now. When you look at breast cancer, it is difficult to pinpoint one factor to be causing it by the number of factors. The non-modifiable are the ones that we may not do much to change them. They include genetic makeup. Some individuals are born with some genes where if those genes get mutated, they get some damage, they can increase the risk of developing breast cancer. The two common genes include what we call BRCA1 gene and BRCA2 gene. When they get mutated, they increase the risk for breast cancer. And also, the age of the person. Like in other cancer diseases, many of the cancers tend to occur in older persons. So as someone becomes older, the risk for developing cancer increases, which is also true for breast cancer. That one doesn't mean that younger persons do not develop breast cancer. We are seeing breast cancer even among younger women, but it's more common among older women. At the same time, in terms of non-modifiable factors, we have seen that the height, the adult attained height, people who are taller tend to have increased risk for breast cancer than those people with the reduced height. So the number of mechanisms that explain that, but for the purpose of the community out there, the public, you should just know that the thing that we don't have control over, like our age, the genetic makeup, and maybe the adult attained height can increase the risk for breast cancer. And then the other thing that can increase the risk for breast cancer fall in the category which we call modifiable. Modifiable means we can change them. You can do something as an individual to change them or to avoid them, or you can do something as a community or as a country to reduce exposure to those things that can increase the risk for developing breast cancer. So there's so many studies reporting risk factors, but there are those ones which we classify as having strong evidence, meaning it has been proven beyond reasonable doubt that they can increase the risk of breast cancer. One is pregnancy. Okay, so women who wait and maybe begin having their first pregnancy, after the age of 30, they have increased risk of developing breast cancer. This also relates to breastfeeding. Women who give birth and do not breastfeed their children, they have also increased risk of developing breast cancer. This is normally related, the mechanism involved here is to do with hormones. You see, when you become pregnant, certain hormones are responsible for maintaining that pregnancy. And then certain hormones are put down, are secreted in smaller amount, to use simple words. So that one gives a resting time for the body. But certain, even breastfeeding also has influence on the hormones. So when you look at it, it gives, during the course of lifetime of the person, it gives some protection from certain type of hormones, which when in a higher amount all the time over many years, increases the risk for developing breast cancer, particularly a type of breast cancer called hormone-dependent breast cancer. Physical activity helps a lot in the general health of the body and also help to balance so many types of hormones in our body, because our cancer can also be hormone related, particularly breast cancer. The real group, huge group of category of breast cancer which are classified as hormone dependent. But exercise or physical activity is very important in balancing the level of this hormone in the body, so that in a normal level that our body needs for normal health. Yeah. And then other things that we can do something about or avoid. So people who are overweight, or the worst form of overweight, which you call obesity, those who are obese, they have higher risk of developing breast cancer. So to avoid or to reduce the risk of breast cancer, keeping our weight in the healthy band is recommended. Many people out there may not know what is the healthy weight range. You can always get advice from your health worker. You take your measurement, your body weight in kilogram, and then they measure your height. You divide this the weight you have in kilogram over the square of your height in meter. It gives a measurement called body mass index. So generally, body mass index between 18.5 to 29.5 is regarded to be healthy. So something like 30 and above is already overweight. And when it goes more, 35, 40 and so on, that's now obesity. But again, underweight again is also not healthy for someone. But here the major thing is to keep within the range of the healthy weight. Yeah, that can be good for our body. This is something you can do. You see, weight is, some people can say, I'm naturally born heavier, I have more weight. That is true. But you can do something about it in terms of managing through physical activity. You can keep your form in good shape if you can engage in physical activity. Then other thing that we can do something about is the food we eat. If you eat less variety of food and you eat less fruits and vegetables, your body like to get less nutrients that are required to protect your body. So we advise people to eat a variety of food, especially our local food here. And then at least try, whether it is difficult, try to make sure each day you have some serving of fruits and vegetables in your diet. That will help to reduce the risk of breast cancer and other types of cancer. There are some women who seek, due to other conditions or personal demand, they seek certain type of treatment, or the specialist treating them can recommend certain type of hormonal treatment. Of course, the treatment is meant to solve the other problem they're having. But as they solve the other problem, this hormonal therapy can also increase the risk of developing breast cancer. During menstruation, there are a lot of changes that take place in the body of the woman, just even during pregnancy. There are changes to maintain the pregnancy and to prepare the child that will be born, and also prepare the breast to feed. It is during menstruation, there are also changes, hormonal changes that take place to manage that process which is taking place. Because after that, another egg will need to come in. So all those processes taking place can bring a number of changes in the woman's breast. So the actual thing is to look for the actual sign and symptom of breast cancer. If you find there's a hard swelling in your breast, a woman can just physically, on her own, can examine her breast by feeling it. And in case you find hard thing in your breast, it could be as hard as a small stone, as hard as bean, whatever thing you can say, or as hard as the bean, the mwanyi. That could be something that you need to report to the nearby health facility. At times, it may not be hard swelling in the breast. At times, it can be pain, breast pain. Okay, you find some pain that doesn't go away, but this pain is not during your menstruation. It is something that you need to get to worry and go to nearby hospital. It doesn't mean it's cancer, but you need to go to the hospital. They do additional tests to clarify whether this could be cancer or not. Yes. At the same time, you need to also look at the nipple of the breast, which in Uganda we say enywanto. Yes. So the nipple generally should be pointing out. If it is that is sinking, growing backward inside, what we call sunken nipple, yes. It is not a good sign. You need to report that sign to the nearby hospital if you are very far from the cancer center. If you live in the area where the cancer center is near you, you live in the central Uganda, if you can make it to Uganda Cancer Institute, is better. If you live in the western Uganda, if you can make it to the Mbarara Cancer Center, that is better. Or Arua, or Gulu, or Ombali Regional Referral Hospital, that could be better. But for those who cannot make it, can go to any other nearby hospital to help you. Also, you can squeeze the nipple. If you get some discharges, particularly bloody discharges, or something which tend to be either brownish or reddish, it is not just a breast milk, it is not just a clear water, it is better you come to the hospital to clarify what could be the problem. And then there are some women who have also developed breast cancer just from the changes on the skin color. Two possibilities. Some you can find the breast skin is darkening. Okay? If you see something on your breast, also come to the hospital. Others not darkening, but they see that there's small dimple. The way you see the skin of an orange or the skin of a lemon, how it is dotted. Yes. So when you see such things, you need to come to the hospital to clarify, to do additional tests to clarify whether this could be breast cancer or not. When you're in the hospital, the doctor will again do the examination, what you call clinical breast exam, to see what could be the issue. If he suspects or he finds it points to either sign or symptom of breast cancer, he will recommend some scan to be done. And then after that, they do staging to see whether treatment is needed and which type of treatment is needed. For many of the early cancers, let's use example, in this case, breast cancer, it is like early stage, okay? Surgery is very helpful. Okay. Surgery meaning you cut well that abnormal area, put it aside, so that you remain with the healthy part of the body. That is surgery. Then, of course, you may cut the tumor or the cancer swelling away, but there could be possibility that some cancer cells could have escaped from the area you have cut. They could be in other parts of the body. Okay? That's what we call now systemic disease. There, the doctor will recommend chemotherapy. That is drugs that can kill the cancer cells. That is chemotherapy. That's another treatment option that could be possible. Yeah. And then at times, also depending on the stage of the disease, another treatment can be recommended, which you call radiotherapy. Yes, radiotherapy also kills the cancer cells. But radiotherapy is focused at the area where the problem is. As I mentioned earlier, the annual expected, based on our population-based cancer registry, the annual expected number of cancer cases is 32,000. And then over 5 years' time, it is 62,000. So it's not a doubling. It is not like you are going to multiply 32 times 5. No. Why? Because some cancer patients are dying. That all those who are being discounted off. So the one you will have with the cancer and living. And if somebody has cancer still living, that means they need to consume cancer care. They need to get cancer care services. Okay? So that burden over 5 years' time is average of 62,000 cancer patients. So not all these could make it to Uganda Cancer Institute, which is centrally located, because there are a lot of issues. Some could be the stigma. Some people don't want to associate themselves with cancer and not to allow people to know that they have cancer. Stigma could be the issue. Another thing could be distant to the health facilities. Somebody from Chisoro, from Kotido, from Arua may find difficulties to make it at Uganda Cancer Institute if the person is not well resourced in terms of financial support.
Yes.
Or even maybe social support. Social support, I mean, you can be poor, you may not have the money in your bank account, but somebody next to you, your husband, your wife, your uncle, or your other important relative or significant others can pick their money and then help you get treatment, okay? Yeah. So the people who are lacking that. And then two, you have also health system challenges. Okay. Because these people are time lost in the health system, whereby the health worker in the rural facility, they're not the equivalent of the category health worker we see in a regional referral hospital, in a national hospital in terms of level of training. So they're likely to miss the cancer cases. So these people end up dying in the communities there. Some thinking that maybe they're dying from witchcraft and so on. Yeah, that can leave others the other side. But also, in decision to access care, people have choice where they should be treated. Yeah, somebody can have a choice which doctor should treat me. So there are people who make their way to herbalists to treat them. So that when you don't have their data, they may not come to us. Yes. Then there are those who can not just only go to herbalists, can go to the real witch doctor, or a soothsayer, who say your problem is different things. Maybe your ancestors are the one seeing you with bad eyes. Maybe you have not done what they need you to do for them. So that's where they can go. You get it, eh? And then there are those who can be going to diviners. Those are spiritual healers, maybe in pastor's church and so on, where the thing, maybe prayer could be the what. So we may not account for those, because the number we are mentioning here, those who made it here, the one we have in our register at the Uganda Cancer Institute. So generally what I'm trying to tell you, there are different alternatives where people can make their choice. But for us, we are doing our best to make sure increase awareness that people get the right treatment, that cancer is not a curse. You cannot solve it maybe by going to maybe a diviners. Diviners or spiritual healer is good for the psychosocial health. But cancer swelling is a real damage in the body that need to be removed through surgery. You get it, which prayer alone cannot what? Cannot remove it. Yeah, as of the evidence now. And then there are those who would wish even to make it here, as I told you, who will not due to distance. So as a country, the government has already recommended for establishment of additional cancer centers in Uganda. By the way, 4 of them, that is Mbarara Regional Cancer Center, Gulu Regional Cancer Center, Arua Regional Cancer Center, and Mbale Regional Cancer Center. Okay. This one will help to address, the needs. When you take the service nearer to the people, at least the challenge that maybe I don't have the money to access the facilities, and maybe putting the health workers near there to create impact, awareness, or outreaches in the area where they can reach. We'll try to help people to get to understand that really you can get treated here, you can get cured, and so on. Okay. Yes, yeah.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
As I speak now, before you end, our Mbarara Regional Cancer Center has been already working treating cancer patients since 2015. Arua Cancer Center is doing some services already, particularly prevention, early detection, and other centers. Then the Gulu Regional Cancer Center construction has been completed, furnishing now taking place. By end of the year, we expect services, certain level of services to start going on.
Thank you, Dr. Jatho, for sharing with us. Remember, early detection is key. Self-examine your breasts regularly and consult your doctor if you notice any changes in size, shape, or feel. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any concerns. Join us next week for another episode of Breast Cancer on Health Garage.
The Health Garage, transforming lives one healthy choice at a time.